Hi. I'm popping in today because this concept of what we wish we knew more about in becoming mothers has been percolating in my head and heart for a few days now, as I have different conversations with lots of different women around what it means to be a mother and where we find ourselves on the path. And it's the conversations that I find most interesting from people who listen to the podcast, and they say time and time again that we give voice to what so many women think about and wonder about and mull over and ache over and yearn for, but don't always give themselves permission to speak about. So we kind of give voice to those musings of motherhood and of the heart and of the woman yearning on an intentional path of their own unfolding into the world. You know, a woman who knows that there's so much more than what she sees and wants to see the other side of that, wants to lean into her mystery. And so this topic of what we wish we knew before we became mothers is also relevant because I'm having lots of conversations with my sister-in-law who is preparing to embark on it and has a really different set of values to me, and I love that because I recognise, you know, how magnificently different we all are, and in fact motherhood is one of the most profound ways to meet all of our differences and meet all of our different values through other women. Hi Jackie. Because we realise in our choices that we make with how we parent, how we feed our kids, you know, what we spend our time doing, whether we choose to stay at home or go to work, or, you know, all of these different things that we choose to do in our lives that can be so, you know, all-consuming and also used as a weapon for mothers to judge each other, and which the media thrives on, of course. But what they tell us more deeply is just how different we are and just how much space there is for who we can be in the world and how we can choose to pave this path. And so I'm musing, I guess, on what it is for those listening. What is it that you wish that you knew before you became a mother? Because one of the questions that my sister-in-law was asking me is, you know, how do you carve out time for you know, because she's seeing these new mothers around her, these friends of hers who are really struggling with the identity transformation that comes with, you know, being a mother, and with, especially when you're established in your own career or you really have a strong sense of independence and control, that, you know, letting go of that and finding that dance between what is service of your child and really showing up for them, and how you also give service and care to yourself in that. Because I think in the first year it's a constant dance, and, you know, many women go into it thinking, you know, the baby's just going to fit in with my life, and that's sort of how we're going to do it, and you know, some people really succeed with that, and some people have these magic sleepers and that's how it works. And I think, you know, to an extent Jules has had that with her fourth. But for many mothers, it's not the case. And it's not the case because they face whole new parts of themselves that they didn't expect to face, you know, that they thought that they could still be the woman that they'd always been before, that they'd just have an expanded sense of self. But I think it's really disconcerting when that sense of self actually transforms and you kind of go, who am I now? Like, how do I integrate this person that I've become as I've made that transition into becoming a mother? Because it is, if you look at the archetypal transition of a woman, where we go from maiden to mother to crone, and, you know, we play those out in our lives, there is a letting go, there is a shedding that has to happen to create space for the mother to be. And our maiden holds on, you know, and she has her place. But, you know, our relationship is calling us to transform as we step more into our power as mothers, and as we step into more power and into our identity now, you know, whether that is that we strongly define ourselves as a mother or that we strongly define ourselves as a career woman or something else. As we grow and as we transcend those archetypes, we're also burning away what we no longer need from an identity point of view. I've got a baby waking up. We might just see if we can get her. Sylvie! Hey, Sylvie, come here. Come here. Hi, come here. I'm just talking to some people. Do you want to come with me? Yeah. So, We're still talking, so we'll keep trying to talk. Sylvie's just woken up. So I was talking about what it is that we wish that we knew before we became mothers. And one of those is, I think another one, our children, they are really resilient. Okay, I'll be there in a second. They are resilient, you know, and I think that the more that we can create space to hear, you know, to listen, to be with the uncomfortable feelings that come up for us around their behaviour, around, you know, who they grow into be, the more that we can find connection, you know, and find the joy and find the presence, because there is so much pressure, right? There's so much pressure to be all of the things. There's so much pressure to do all of the things. And they're calling us constantly into presence. And I don't think that it's trying to shoot for some kind of amazing, all-giving, all-nurturing, conscious mother, you know, does no wrong. I think that that's futile, and I think that our children are entitled to see all of us, because they are just as much helping us to grow as we are helping them to grow. But I suppose one of the things that I wish that I knew is that which is kind of now. So I'm going to go, but I would love to see in the comments if other people have ideas of what it is that they wish that they knew before they became a mother. Talk to you later.